Welcome to a very special edition of the Mariners Massive on Football Manager 21 and in partnership with A-League FC. We have reached a create your own adventure disaster type scenario here in the world of the Mariners Massive universe. I didn't quite know what this episode was going to be about, to be honest. There's only 2 games taking place in the A-League this weekend and we're not one of them. So we've got the weekend off. But our result last week, 3-0 against MacArthur FC, a win away from home, has resulted in a bit of a domino knock-on effect. Ante Milicic, as reported in the A-League FM21 rundown this weekend, was sensationally sacked following that game. The MacArthur board pulling the trigger, which has meant a job opening, and as you can imagine, who have they come to fill their slot? That didn't sound right, ignore that. And ignore Melbourne City offering a contract to Jack Clisby. I'm still not sure what to do with him, to be honest. His Football Manager 21 form has paled in comparison to his real-life performances for Alan Stajic. Not certain whether he's going to get offered a contract or not, but we'll make that decision pretty shortly, now that there's been an interest in him. No, it's this one. MacArthur have approached and offered me the chance to take over the managerial job at Campbelltown Sports Stadium, replacing the sacked Ante Milicic. In terms of the wage, that's actually identical to what I'm on now here in Gosford, 2.8k. I could probably get them up to 3, maybe. Certainly another £100 can go up on the top of there. No transfer budget, not really a surprise considering the A-League clubs can't buy off each other. Wage budget of 75k, now that's more than double what I've got to work with here in the Central Coast. In terms of the club vision, the culture is to develop players using the club's youth system. And at the end of this season, all the board are expecting is to be competitive, with a work towards winning the A-League final series requirement next year, 21-22, and then to win it all, win the A-League finals in 22-23. In terms of players, MacArthur have better ones, or certainly ones that are valued at more, higher valued even. So we only have 5 players that are considered to be worth more than 100k. Michael Yanota, Mark Birighitti, absolutely deserves it. Marcos Urena, Costa Rican international, former Los Angeles FC player. Oli Bozanic, skipper. And then Daniel De Silva, one of our creative forces. They're the only 5. The likes of Stefan Negro, not on that list. Neither is Dylan Ruiz-Diaz or Matt Simon. Alu Qual is apparently only worth 7.5k. There are Premier League players who take home more than that each week. And Stefan Jankovic, 1.6k. Considering he's got a little bit of experience behind him, I'm quite surprised by that. But in contrast, MacArthur, they have 9 players worth over 100k. And that doesn't even include the likes of Matt Derbyshire, veteran striker, Benat, the Spaniard, or skipper Mark Milligan. They've got Tommy Orr, Loic Puyo, James Meredith, Jovanovic Gorlek, not quite sure why, Sujnar, Jean Rowe, Marco Saseta, and Adam Federici, all of whom would garner a transfer fee of over 100k. It's not all plain sailing though for MacArthur, because they've only won 3 A-League games all season, beating Wellington Phoenix, Perth Glory and Melbourne City in home fixtures. They sit on 16 points, having played 16 games, and in contrast, the Mariners sit on 39 points from 16 games. It's a massive gap. And, what's more, not one that MacArthur can close. There's only about 10 games remaining, to be honest, which isn't going to put them right up there and displace the Mariners. Even if the Central Coast don't get another point, it's still unlikely that we'll ever get anywhere close to them. And in fact, second is probably out of the picture. Wellington Phoenix with 33 points. That's, a good 13 ahead. That's, 5 wins essentially for 15 points to take you up there. Sydney FC 26 points. The best we can hope for is probably 3rd or 4th if I were to move to Macarthur. Let's be honest about it. But what are the odds that we can turn it round? Because, as you'll see, Macarthur have been in the midst of some shocking form. Their last win came against Wellington Phoenix. It was Miloslav Popovic with the goal on 7 minutes. Since then, nothing to write home about. 10 games played, 5 losses, 5 draws. What really concerns me, though, is these losses at home. Western Sydney Wanderers, 3-1. Looks like they were 2 goals down before they even started playing. A loss to the Knicks, 2-0 in the second half, both goals, Muratovic and Josh Sotirio, and then Adelaide United, goal either side of the break there, Marco Jakobsen with an early penalty, Tommy Juric. Home ties against Western United, Newcastle Jets, draws, and then of course they lost to ourselves. Last game out, Marcus Urena and Ollie Bozanic on the score sheet. Absolutely nothing came from Macarthur, if I'm honest. And that is sort of concerning me. In terms of ourselves, in terms of the Mariners, we've got plenty of home ties still to come this season. Western United, Newcastle Jets and Melbourne Victory, 3 in a row. We've then got the Knicks and Wanderers outside of Perth Glory, a trip to Perth Glory, I should say. This is what is a massive concern, especially because in Macarthur's fixtures, the majority of theirs are away from home, and they play Sydney FC twice in quick succession, just a week apart. They're not a team that you want to come up against, really. Steve Corica has been sacked, I have to say, which means that job is available as well. But they're giving the caretaker a bit of a chance before taking a punt on somebody else. So the plan is for me to post a poll on Twitter, on my page, which is at Charlie Tango FM. I'll ask my friends at A-League FC to retweet as well. And then we've got a decision to make. I will go with absolutely what the poll comes out with. I'm not one of these, I'll put up a poll and then, make my own decision. No, go with it. I will indeed. Macarthur or the Central Coast Mariners? That's the choice. Do I stick with the team that I've got this far, or quickly seek a new challenge before the end of the season? Your choice. Now, this series is always planned to be 1 year. It was always going to run alongside the actual A-League season, and it was going to finish when that does. So to take over the Macarthur Bulls, it would be a bit of a challenge, a bit of a time to get used to something new, in a save that I didn't think we'd have that opportunity to do that. Or we stick with the Mariners and take ourselves up. We should win the Premiership from here, if I'm honest. So that would mean, can we win the Championship? Can we convert 1 trophy into 2? That's the challenge there, along with obviously keeping everybody happy when we've got much of a winning side. Not, of course, an issue with Macarthur. They haven't won many games at all. So it's pretty understandable that people want to change things around. Do check out the poll on my Twitter page. Do check it out over at A-League FC. Cast your vote, and then we shall see what happens. I'm going to keep the vote running probably through to the end of Sunday. So we usually do run down very early on Sunday morning. That'll be the same. We'll continue with that because the results have taken place that we can talk about. There are, of course, some transfer news. But in the meantime, get voting on whether I stay here in the Central Coast or seek my fortune in Sydney with Macarthur FC. The chance to establish a new club, take them to a trophy, their very first one. Is that worth departing from Gosford for? I look forward to seeing the results. Thank you for joining me today. Do cast your vote in the poll, and then we shall see from there what happens next. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on Sunday.